Hi, it's Mark from Top Local. We're here with Bernie Pawlik, Pawlik Automotive in Vancouver, Vancouver's best auto service experience. We're talking Ford trucks again. How you doing, Bernie?
Doing very well.
So we have a 2004 Ford F350 that you had to do some wheel work on. What was going on with this vehicle?
This vehicle came to our shop. The client had a concern about his drivetrain. There were some noises present, and he was concerned there was a problem and brought it in, and we proceeded to do a road test and a steering suspension inspection, and what we found was very interesting.
So what did you find that was wrong?
Well, let me just go straight to the video. Basically, what we found is the front left wheel bearing was extremely badly worn. So let's just go right to the video.
Whoa! Is there an earthquake?
Yeah, I know. It looks like that. I know we've done hangouts on these type of issues before, but I just thought, you know, this is just so badly worn. I just had to do it again. So let's have a look at that wheel bearing again. So you look at the movement. You see this, the brake rotor flopping around, the axle's moving. It's the front drive axle, and the wheel, of course. You look at that amount of movement. It's just phenomenal.
Awesome.
So yeah, so that's all we found was wrong. Now whenever we have an issue like this, we do a complete drivetrain and steering and suspension inspection to see if there's anything else, because there could be other issues as well. But in the case of this vehicle, that's all we found was wrong, which is plenty of problem.
So that's, like you said, that's pretty worn and nothing else damaged. But how often do you see wheel bearings with that much play?
Not that often. I mean, we do see wheel bearings that have play. You know, but a lot of times it's just minor. This one is extremely badly worn, you know, and obviously I would guess it was probably making noise for quite some time before it started failing worse.
And what would be what's the ramifications of that much play?
Well, like ramifications in terms of driving it, or in terms
and potential other failures, etc. How bad can it get? Does the wheel fall off? You know.
Well, the wheel completely falling off is pretty unlikely. I mean, I think it could just come to kind of a grinding halt on the road, which would not be a good thing if you're going down the highway. But I mean, other damage, you can see that universal joint that's being flopped around in there. I mean, if things got much worse, it could actually cause that to hit against something and cause the actual axle to hit different parts in the housing. And also with the brakes, you know, the brakes are moving around a lot, so it could cause some excessive brake pad or brake rotor wear, even damage the brake caliper. The wheel bearing on this vehicle it's a unitized wheel bearing. So the good news is that all that damage is kind of contained in all that wear is all contained in one area. I'll just share one more photo here. This is the wheel bearing hub assembly, and so this is the whole unit that gets replaced. This part here where my mouse pointer is, this bolts into the wheel hub. The steering knuckle area, and this housing contains the bearings. So the bearings inside here. This is the wheel hub where the wheel bolts onto, and on this wiring, these bits and pieces, these are for the ABS brakes. So again, all these parts, if it was a different bearing replacement, you may have to replace the hub or something else. But because it's all unitized, the good news for the customers, it's probably not going to cost them a lot more money than it did had he not fixed it sooner. And
I guess tire wear. How is the tire on that vehicle?
Well, the tires definitely had some wear, and that's another thing that, you know, having a wheel bearing like that can affect your tire wear as well. I mean, these tires on that truck look, from what I remember, they're not in great shape. So, you know, if you had a really nice set of tires, you know, yes, of course that could damage them. I think the tires in this truck are pretty near worn out anyway, so not a huge consequence.
And are wheel bearings a pretty common failure on Super Duty vehicles?
We do a number of them. Not a really common failure, but you know, by the time you hit 200,000 kilometers or a little more, you probably have replaced your front wheel bearings. They do wear out at that sort of rate, but they're unfortunately pretty expensive. I mean, once you use the word Super Duty, it is a Super Duty truck. It's tough. It's got big stuff, you know, big front end parts, big bearings, and you know the job is pricey. So good news is they do tend to last a long time, but they will fail.
So there you go. If you're looking for a service on your F350 in Vancouver, The guys to see are Pawlik Automotive. You can reach them at 604-327-7112 or check out their website, pawlikautomotive.com, or our YouTube channel. You can just search Pawlik Automotive on YouTube. Hundreds of videos on there, including a few more on F350s. Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Mark.